It's a death spiral. It's a torment nexus. Welcome to it.
Yeah, I got balls, of course I read. I got balls, don't you listen to me?
Hello, and welcome to The Author Has Thoughts. I am the author in question, Gary Ballard, author of 14 books, including 6 cyberpunk novels in the Bridge Chronicles series, 6 Cthulhu Mythos novellas in the Stepping Stone cycle, as well as my latest book, Hiss Whistle Dead, which is set in the Bridge Chronicles universe. If you want to buy those books, there's going to be links in the description below. Since this is YouTube and we have to feed the algorithm, while you're here, go ahead and hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell so that you can be notified when I make more videos. Usually these are about every 2 weeks to a month, something like that. And, if you get to the end of the video and you like it, just leave a comment below. There's links in the description to how to buy all my books. And if you want my socials, they're going to be somewhere over here with, I've got Instagram and I got Blue Sky, which was probably in the description. With all the YouTube algorithm feeding garbage out of the way, let's get to my thoughts. If you're like me and you spend any time watching YouTube videos, or you've listened to me before or listened to other YouTubers, you will have heard them refer to the algorithm in both derisive and grudgingly subservient terms. In general terms, the algorithm is the mathematical formula used to serve content to you, the viewer. Whether you use a keyword search, or you look at your list of recommended videos content, or you click on a related video content after this is over, or you scroll to another video on your phone, or you're doom scrolling through your feed on social media, on most of the big social media sites, the content that you're given, that you see, is going to be chosen for you by the algorithm. Big time disclaimer. I am not a mathematician. I am a nerd, but I'm not nearly intelligent enough to suss out the math required to understand or even properly explain how these algorithms work at a mechanical level. I am smart enough, however, to understand the general concept and to see the flaw or design intention, depending on your perspective, in the current implementation of said algorithms in the aforementioned software and or website. TikTok, Twitter, fuck you, I'm not calling it X. Facebook, Meta, whatever you want to call it, Instagram, Threads, Google, Amazon, YouTube. Besides being on the internet, what is their defining common feature? I mean, they're all websites and they're all software that make money by driving you, the viewer, to the content that makes them the most profit or revenue, depending on the product, which in most cases is the content that keeps you on their platform longer, interacting or engaging with more content, and as a result, being shown more ads, or in the case of something like Amazon, more products. So you'll forgive an old dude for a little wander down memory lane, but in the early days of the internet, search engines were built along 2 separate design philosophies. You had your Lycoses, your web crawlers, and such and like, attempting to index virtually everything on the internet. When you did what was called a keyword search, it tried to match as much of your search terms, those keywords, as possible to a suitable list of websites. Eventually, Google became the search engine by doing this better than anyone else, faster, more reliably, more actual results. And of course, ads, but I'll get to that. The other philosophy of search engine was embodied by Yahoo, which did not try to slurp up absolutely everything it could for one giant index. What they did was accept submissions of websites from people who created them or from other people who'd seen them, and then they tried to curate the most relevant results based on actual humans reviewing the submitted website and including it in its index if the human determined that it was relevant for whatever particular search terms it had. Now, if you know anything about staffing and programming and putting together teams, you can probably see the flaw in Yahoo's philosophy from a business standpoint. Even back then, the internet was fucking huge and becoming more fucking huge by the hour. That's why we needed search engines. No company at the time could afford the manpower required to curate all that content, or even a good portion of it. And I question if even some megacorps like a Google or an Apple could afford to do it as well. I mean, they probably could, but it would be very, very expensive and cost prohibitive. While the results on Yahoo may have been more relevant in theory, there would obviously be less of them because of that manpower shortage. And we all know human nature is quantity creates a perception of quality all on its own. Google's supremacy eventually prevailed because the results they had were relevant, and it literally looked like they would go on forever, as if the literal entire internet was there. For almost 2 decades, they ruled search because they were search. You no longer surfed the internet like we used to say, for some dumbass reason. You Googled the thing you needed. They became the actual verb that meant to search the internet. Google did this with an algorithm, and their algorithm was mostly pretty good. There were people at the top of the search division that actually wanted to give the viewer the best result as fast as possible without any bullshit. Just as importantly, those people believe that preventing bad actors from gaming the search engine, i.e. gaming the algorithm, they believe that preventing bad actors from gaming the search engine's algorithm, even though it was an ever-shifting set of rules to rank websites, they wanted to stop people from unfairly raising their sites above others to prevent this fire hose of information or misinformation to the viewer. Google eventually created an ad business built around search, and today they have a general monopoly on the online ad market. I mean, don't take my word for it. There's an actual court case that says just that. Google is a monopoly in search in online ads. Social media sites like Facebook, Instagram, Threads, Twitter, again, not calling it X, TikTok, YouTube, all run on the principle of showing ads to the users. Keeping the user engaged on the site or the app as long as possible makes them more money because they show you more ads. A lot of them often do this by basically pissing you off. Or more accurately, they've analyzed the content you stayed the longest on or responded the most to. And then they've tweaked the algorithm to feed you more and more of that, creating this never-ending cycle of similarly engaging and probably enraging shit to keep you swiping, doom scrolling, and most importantly, viewing the ads. All of those companies generate or provide content, but you are the actual product. Your eyeballs, your attention is their product. You are not the customer. If you've bought something once on a site like Amazon, it's almost guaranteed you're going to see that product again when you next visit Amazon. Or you'll get an email from Amazon when something similar goes on sale or the same product goes on sale. Doesn't really matter what that product is, if it's something you'd buy once every 5 years or something you'd buy monthly. You will see it again for an indeterminate amount of time until you buy it again or some other product you viewed or bought supplants it. If you so much as browse a review of, say, a book because your buddy saw this funny as hell joke review and wanted you to read it and linked you to it, Amazon is going to find a way to contact you with that product or something similar for months, regardless of whether you bought it or not. You get linked to a review of Dino Erotica. You get linked to a review of Dino Erotica. Prepare to be Chuck Tingled for eternity. Please do not look up either of these terms on Amazon unless you're prepared to get exactly what you should expect based on the context of how I mentioned them. You have been warned. So back in, I think, 2022, I had a conversation with someone about the videos they'd been watching on TikTok. They were expressing hope for the future because they kept seeing so many videos of transgender people sharing their journeys about transitioning on the TikTok platform. Meanwhile, you have an entire political party and or movement outside of that TikTok ecosphere, essentially trying to erase the existence of transgender people. And this was in 22, and it's worse now, obviously. When she told me about that, and I compared it to what I'm seeing in the political realm, it hit me. If you saw all those heartwarming videos and nothing else, the world is full of rainbows of love, rewarding the honesty of people living their truth. But when you then compare that to the outside world, you'd be horrified to see transgender people under attack for the crime of wanting to exist as their true selves. What had happened was the algorithm had detected my friend's interest in this subject and was determined to keep them engaged on the app. So more of those videos showed up. Likely the idea was that either those videos enraged her or engaged her. Either way, she got more of everything she looked at, everything that you spend 10 more seconds on than a different topic. You get the spiral. And as you go down those rabbit holes, the algorithm creates a profile of you that feeds you what you crave, what got you there in the first place. And it feeds you more and more of it, narrowing your view down to what's in that rabbit hole. Good example, go on YouTube and do a search for flat earthers, for flat earth theory. You will find some shit. And the more you watch, the crazier shit you'll see. And if you're a flat earther who's offended, well, the earth is not flat, so move on. So the Wikipedia definition of algorithm is a finite sequence of mathematically rigorous instructions, typically used to solve a class of specific problems or to perform a computation. Algorithms are used as specifications for performing calculations and data processing. Algorithms obviously are not perfect. They're created by men. They respond to the data that you feed into them, and they spit back the solutions based on the criteria the creator or maintainer has specified. An algorithm is not evil by itself, it's just math. It's being used as a tool by a lot of evil, greedy fuckers, but it's just the math. All the algorithms we're seeing now are being used to curate the internet in a specific way, ostensibly to customize it to your needs. The problem is that it isn't your needs that these algorithms are being tweaked to satisfy. Remember what I said about you being the product? Every algorithm adjusts itself to what's called weighting, i.e. it values some things more than others. Those early web searches I talked about, it valued relevant keyword matching. So the keyword you were looking for matched up. Amazon has weighted its algorithms towards things that you purchased or were interested in. Social media has valued engaging content. But the actual weighting used is only the value input in the algorithm's design. Those weights can and are being tweaked to achieve a very specific result. In this case, the generation of maximum profit for minimum effort. And one aside about those weightings, they have been found, just like in generative AI and the training data for generative AI, they have been found to be extremely biased towards a very privileged white male perspective. So those weightings, you may think it's just math, it's not racist, but the ratings are racist in some form or fashion, systemically based on privilege. So TikTok shows you more of the same kind of videos that keep you on the app longer in whatever way that requires. Other social media sites continue to show you the content that keeps you scrolling to see more ads. Amazon shows you products you've already bought in the hopes that you'll buy more of that product or a similar product, maybe more expensive product. And everything you interact with on the site will eventually be marketed to you again, even if your previous purchasing habits don't require such remarketing. Because why you purchase something is not a context that the algorithm takes into account. It just takes, you purchased it, how much you purchased it, when you purchased it, how many times you purchased it, the price you paid, the discount, all these other things, but not why you purchased it, because how is it going to know? All of these things create a feedback loop that gets stronger and stronger, creating this echo chamber within our own heads. It is a literal death spiral, a self-perpetuating torment nexus that draws us into ever more isolated bubbles, in some cases being used to create an entire alternate reality of misinformation. See the 2024 election if you want an example. In many cases, we've seen the algorithms actually radicalize an entire generation of sad, mediocre white men to become incels and hate women. Tell me I'm wrong. It certainly feels like there is no effort to improve the algorithm in any way other than to tweak the effectiveness at creating profit, which refines the spiral further and further. There's no counterbalance. I almost feel like these algorithms need an anti-engagement mechanism that feeds you things you aren't interested in, just to maybe calm you down, keep you on your toes, maybe even get you to log off, go touch grass or something. Because we live in the shittiest timeline, it would likely just engage us with those anger endorphins that keep us continually locked into these platforms in an unhealthy way in the first place. I'll admit, I don't have a solution here to the problem. It would probably require regulation of how the algorithms are fed and how they work. I'm pretty sure no one in power actually understands that, or the people who do understand it are in power and would actively cheer the kind of misinformation that they use to gain power in the first place. Again, see the 2024 election. But the death spiral is real. And along with the slop being generated by generative AI like ChatGPT and these other garbage platforms, it's doing an actual number on the internet. The internet is becoming less useful by the day. That's useful to you and to me, of course. To the people that are busy sucking up all the money by wasting our fucking time, it's useful as hell. Thank you for watching. I'm glad you decided to share some time with me. I hope it wasn't too boring. Remember, if you want to discuss this, then, give me a comment down below. If you like the video and want to see more, subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you can be notified when I make new videos. Give me a like if you liked it. I mean, you can even give me a dislike. I don't think it matters to the algorithm. It just wants engagement. Look down in the description below for links to all my books if you're interested in my thoughts and maybe think I could write well. Hit me up on my socials. I got Instagram and Blue Sky, and I do a lot of photography. So I've been posting a lot of photography on both those platforms lately. If you like, nice artistic photos, they're there. Leave me a comment over there. Leave me a comment over here. Just engage me all over the place. My algorithm needs massaging. Again, thank you for watching. My name is Gary Ballard, and these have been my thoughts.
1, 2, 3, 4.